Hi everyone, this is Nina Perlove with another vlog, and today I'm going to tell you the identity of the mystery flutist. And the mystery flutist is Sir James Galway. I was really amazed that the response that I got to the video was overwhelmingly confident that the mystery flutist was in fact Sir James Galway. So how did you know it was Sir James Galway? Many of you commented principally on the use of vibrato, that the vibrato was so distinctly characteristic of Galway's playing. Although occasionally a few of you said you thought it was not James Galway for the very same reason, because the vibrato did not sound like what you typically expect from James Galway, particularly in the Bach sonatas which I posted. Others mentioned his distinct sound, and in particular the sound in his low register. So this brings me to the discussion of what does it mean to have a unique and distinctive artistic voice, which this experiment has clearly shown that James Galway does. Those who are successful, like Sir James, are the ones who believe in their own expression and they go with it and they nurture it, rather than trying to constantly change and adapt in order to please everyone. I believe cultivating the true artistic self is a very, very important part of an artist's training, and also is something that a teacher needs to keep in mind. First, I see the young student who's just starting out, and their role really is to take the instruction that's given to them by their teacher and apply it, more or less without too much question. The mature student takes the teacher's instruction and experiments with it using their own ear as the guide. The young professional then takes everything he has learned and makes it his own. This last step is the one that is quite possibly the most challenging to do, because throughout our musical training, many musicians are very focused on trying to always imitate their teachers or imitate their idols. And that's a very important part of the process, because through imitation, I believe we learn how to control certain aspects of our sound, whether it's vibrato or tone color or technique or phrasing. But eventually we don't want to become a carbon copy of another flutist. Eventually you have to use what you've learned through imitation and make it something that is unique to yourself. So once an artist has successfully cultivated a unique musical identity, does that mean that the artist never changes throughout the course of his or her career? I don't think so. And this experiment with James Galway, the mystery flutist, shed a little bit of light on that. I received many comments about how this recording sounded a little bit like James Galway, but not entirely like James Galway. And then other people said, well, it sounds like James Galway from 30 years ago, because he played differently then than he does now. Which made me think, is it true? Does he play differently now than he did 30 years ago? And I can't give you a definitive answer to that question, but I can tell you that artists are continually evolving, adapting, changing, and experimenting. And frankly, I think if the great artists weren't doing that, they would get bored and they would be in a rut. They need to keep their music and their art fresh, just as the audience needs it to be fresh. And times change, styles change over time, ways of doing things are constantly evolving. So even the great musicians may play differently than 20 years later than they did earlier. That doesn't mean that the later playing is necessarily better or worse than the earlier playing. It just means that it's different and it's part of the artistic lifespan. So once an artist has successfully cultivated a sound that is unique and their own individual expression, will everybody love it? I can pretty much guarantee that the answer is no. It is, once again, impossible to please everybody, but that shouldn't be our goal. Our goal should be to touch those people who are open to our expression with a genuine sincerity and to make art that is meaningful for those who are open to receiving it. So I hope you enjoyed my little experiment with the mystery flutist. It was a real pleasure for me to receive this package in the mail and listen to this music, beautiful playing, and to share it with all of you. And I hope that this will get people thinking about some of the ideas that I've discussed here today.